I want to ask you guys about a certain player that is being attached to the 76ers. So Vegas odds have come out on Bradley Beal's next team. And obviously the highest favorite is for him to stay in Washington. But the next team to the Wizards is the 76ers. And then with that, Bill Simmons on his podcast this week said, quote, "My odds-on favorite is Philadelphia, and I don't think it's close. Beal and Joel Embiid, they are friends. Embiid was trying to get him 2 years ago, which I kept telling people on this podcast. They ended up going with Harden instead. Embiid was pushing for Harden or for Beal, and now Harden's going to leave. If you are Philly and you're going to lose Harden and now have this shooter, and that's probably a better fit with Embiid anyway, and Tobias Harris on an expiring contract, a couple of future draft picks, I could probably throw that. I could probably find in my pocket somewhere. And if you're Washington, it's like, you know what we've got out of the Beal contract. We have Harris as an expiring, and we are rebooting everything. So my question is, and this is what everyone's talking about right now, would you rather have Beal and a contract that he has 4 years left, it's like a $250 million deal, or this Harden kind of limbo of what he wants right now? Because we don't really know what he wants. He wants a max, but you also have Beal's $250 million deal. Of those two, which are you guys kind of looking towards as something that you'd rather go to? And also with this Beal thing, you give up Tobias Harris in this hypothetical, and you also lose Harden in free agency. So what are you guys going with on this one?
So you're saying basically it's
Beal,
Harden, and then get a replacement for Harris, or Beal and no Harden or Harris.
Exactly, yeah.
It's interesting. I can see a team like that. I can see a team with. And you said we're keeping Maxey, because I know our last show you said Maxey was leaving.
Well, that was a Kuzma 2-for-2 deal, but okay. Yeah.
I would probably do that.
Now, if we get finagle Kuzma, I'd be over the moon.
I would be okay with that. I don't necessarily know how it would work, but I would be okay with that. I think we would need to get more. I think we would have to, I don't know, maybe Teja can help me out on that's not an even trade, is it?
You can bring back
exceptions with that. Yeah,
you can bring back a certain percentage. So as is, Harris for Beal would work. It would be a little better if we could throw in like another $5 million, which would be Burke. But as is, it would work.
Is Burke on the end of his deal? Last year of his deal?
Yeah, they're both expiring.
So yeah, I can see Winger doing that and adding somebody else. I just don't know the Wizards roster to see if there's anyone else that could fit, that could help.
Yeah, they have a lot of
maybe with some size or something.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I do like it. I think it's a little incomplete. You know what I'm saying? Just a straight up. But if you're thinking straight up for Tobias, yeah, obviously you do that. Losing James, and Maxey and Beal can work. I think you have to address the forward position. Yeah, I mean, would we be able to keep all the other free agents if we needed to in that situation?
I think that would be the ideal thing. You probably re-sign McDaniels, re-sign Paul Reed. Yeah. Because you're not getting two players back. You're losing two and one, right? So
and that's why I'm saying, will we still have ability to go get something else, because it's two salaries.
I think we'd have, if we did that, we would have access to our full MLE. Yeah. So which this year I think will get you.
That's the point that I'm trying to say. Players. Yeah, I mean, it's like you can pick up one or two guys and really help yourself.
Yeah, I think this year more than others you'll get a good player.
I would have to think about it a little more, but I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I think that could work, especially if Joel's playing the way he's playing and Maxey's playing the way he's played. If we're able to get a full mid-level, bring the other free agents back, I can make that run. I mean, you look at Denver. That's the type of team they got. They playing 7 guys. Really? I mean, the other Brown, I mean, he plays sparingly. The kid from Kansas, I mean, he doesn't play, you know what I'm saying? He didn't play very much against the Lakers. He's played more this series. But, yeah, they basically playing 7 full-time guys.
Yeah.
And one of those guys, nobody wanted.
Yeah.
And he's playing really well. Bruce Brown. Playing really well.
Yeah, I think if we wanted to become more of a Denver, I think that would mean it all really depends on what kind of deal.
Now, I'm not saying like Denver. I'm just saying like where you have guys fitting into a specific role of what they do best.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant as far as how money's distributed.
No, not the money. I'm just talking about as far as role and personnel. It's like not many guys. You got Murray, you got Jokic, obviously that can do so many different things great, but everybody else is kind of fitting to a role.
Yeah.
Green, Bruce Brown, you know what I'm saying? They all fit a role.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like with this lineup, the Sixers could have, they're big. They can have Joel, 2 guys that can do a lot of everything really well, score it, and everybody else fits a role. That's what I'm saying. It fits that mold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like and dislike it. I'll say why. So I like it because I don't think we're going to do much better in a one-on-one deal for Harris as far as Beal goes. I don't think we get a higher valued player than that.
Chicago guys, if for some reason they come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I consider. Yeah.
And I would be in favor of that mostly for the money because I think Levine and Beal are pretty comparable, and I think he makes Levine makes like 10 less, 12 less than him. So
he's
that's
younger.
Yeah, that's also true too. But in general, there aren't a lot, and I think we'd have to because Levine's contract's a little more favorable. We probably have to give up a little more to get Levine. So, but in general, I don't think there's much better we can do than a Beal Levine level player. I don't think we're getting a top 5 player, top 10 player out of this. And I think even though the CBA is changing things on how teams are going to structure their contracts and just structure their teams in general and clear up their cap, I think Morey's still kind of in star hunting mode, and I think he's still in the gather the best, biggest names possible, and then we'll figure out the rest later type. He's been doing that since Houston. I think he's going to continue to do it now, even with the new CBA rules coming out. I don't think he cares. So I dislike it because I think we'd be better suited to pick up multiple contracts for Tobias's contract. I'd rather pick up let's say him and Furk, they equal about $45 million. I'd rather pick up like a $25 million player and like a $20 million player than pick up like one Beal. I'd rather have 2 guys averaging like 15 to 18 a game rather than Beal's averaging like 23 to 25 a game. Like for instance, I'd rather have like a Gordon and an MPJ type to fill out the starting 5. Because that's kind of what the contract would be struck, the equals in a way. I just think it would be better for our overall just spreading it out rather than like if one guy's a bad game, you're screwed because the other guy is more of like an 8 to 10 point scorer a game. Now you need him to score 20, which is a little out of his way, right? Whereas
you would think that if James was gone too.
See, here's the thing. If you just split up Toby to get like 2 guys, then you would keep Harden. So you have Harden, you'd have Maxey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that's 2 different things, though. We're looking at it. Are we looking at it from a standpoint of James being gone or James staying? Because you know what I'm saying? That, like, if James is staying, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I'll take that. Then you can decide whether you want to bring Maxey as a 6-man or or play all 3. Like, I don't think it's a fit to have all 3. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I just think I looked at it from a standpoint if Tobias is going for Beal and if Beal is coming, the fact that him, Maxey, and James all play the same position, that for some reason you're doing that to go in a different direction. Maybe it's Maxey that goes and not necessarily James.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from a standpoint of then the whole Beal and Kuzma comes into play.
Yeah.
I think from that standpoint, it's tough because you giving up Tobias and not getting James, which you getting a really good player and you're addressing your guard position because Maxey can move to one, but you're also taking out another starter. So you're really losing two starters for one. And that's why I said I like it, but that mid-level and who you get for that would really kind of confirm it or not confirm it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. That's why I say it's kind of incomplete because you don't know what could happen behind it because more would need to be done to me for it to be complete.
And I'll end it on this too. So I did a player 1 and player 2. Player 1 averaged 21, 8, 3 and 3 on 43% from 3. Player 2 averaged 23, 4, and 5 on 37% from 3. Player 1 is Tobias coming from the Clippers that year, and player 2 is Beal last year. So we're getting practically the same stats from a smaller guy who's has less defensive versatility for about $10 million. So you have 90% of Sixer fans complaining now about Tobias's 36, 37, 38 million. What the hell are people going to say about Beal in 3 years when he's making like 60?
I mean, all you got to do is go and look and see what people are saying about him with the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean,
but that comes down to winning, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Philly, it comes down to winning too. If you go and you perform and we win, the talk will be less.
Mm-hmm.
They're so torn, though. We know a lot of Wizards fans being from the area.
But and once again, to Tobias's defense, he was paid that salary to have a bigger role than he has.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He was paid that salary to continue on what he was doing on the Clippers.
Yes.
21, 8, and 3.
And we decided to go get other guys, and money's still there.
And Beal will be making that money while having a larger role than what Tobias is having now, though. So, I mean, it won't be the same type of complaints people will have.
No, they'll still have it.
It won't be. But here's the thing. If he's averaging 23, 4, and 5 on 37% as the main guy on his offense, what's going to happen when you have Maxey taking 18 shots a game and
he'll be more efficient. He'll be more efficient.
I would hope. Yeah, I'd hope so.
I'm saying he'll be more efficient because he won't be playing as the number one option. He'll be more efficient. Like Maxey's never played at being the number one option. Those guys have the luxury of playing with a guy that's been the number one option. So we see. I think Maxey could still score the ball, not being around Joel, but his efficiency, I think, may suffer.
Yeah. But yet, with someone like James, when he's not the number one option, he provides a lot of other things that boosts value to his overall, status.
And I believe that Maxey can do that. What James can do if we give him the ball.
Average 11 assists.
If we give him the ball, he don't have the ball.
It's true.
I mean,
there's guys that can average 11 assists if they have high volume, like James does.
Yeah,
maybe not 11, but they can average 9. They can average 8, 9.
I don't know if he's the natural point guard. James is, though. James is a natural playmaker.
You said there was a time when no one thought James was.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And people still think that. And he's averaged 11 assists.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have a high volume in this league, and you can play like you can get assists.
Yeah, I would just be worried about that contract being the same exact place we are with Tobias in like 2 years.
And then why would you not worry about James getting that contract?
Oh, I am. Okay.
All right. As long as we understand that, because James could possibly make it more.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to break this down and say, would you rather have Harden for 35 per year or Beal for 50? Harden for 35, right?
Yeah, that's not 35 is not going to happen.
No, but like, would you'd say yes to that? Harden for 30? Okay. Harden for 35 for 4 years? So 35, 37, or no, I guess it'd be like 30.
That's the part that we're getting into. I don't, like I said, I think the money James will make it, I think it's going to come down to the years. I don't think he's going to settle for 2 years in Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Beal,
give me the years, give me the money. Then if y'all don't like me, then trade me. That's on y'all. But I earned it. Look at my numbers. I earned it. It's tough. It's gonna be a tough situation.
It is tough. I wish. I mean, yeah.
And looking at the age aspect of things, Beal's 29. By the time his contract's done, he'll be 33. Harden's 33 right now. So whenever it's 3 or 4 years, he'll be 36, 37. So
true, but I mean, you could be 24. Durability is durability. Harden averaged more games played over the last 5 seasons than Beal has.
As the number one option, though, if he's number 3,
Harden in the last couple of years missed some games, but he ain't played with Bill ain't played with KD and Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trust me, he'll be healthier with those guys.
Oh, really? You'll just turn that on, huh? Just turn that switch on?
Yeah, and them teams don't sit you out as much either.
Well, ironically, Simmons said that Beal most likely would have been a Sixer 2 years ago, or I guess now 2 years ago because the new league's about to start. 2 years ago, but Beal opted to have the surgery on his hand, which ruined the entire plan. So, ironically, his injury stopped him from becoming a possible Sixer. So
yeah, I don't know about all that, but just like him and Joel are friends. Is that what they said?
That's what Simmons said. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys got so many friends in this league.
Yeah, they're all.
Every time something come out, they're friends and best friend.
I thought he was really good friends with Tatum too. So,
Yeah.
Well, him and Tatum that's the St. Louis thing. So I get that. I understand that, because they're from the same area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Tatum played for Bradley's team, so it is a relationship there. That's a relationship.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm not just.
I'm just saying, like guys, it's just like every time somebody's name come up, it's like their best friend, and I've never seen them together, never heard anything before, and then all of a sudden they're best buddies.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron got so many best friends around the league. It's like everybody. Guys can know each other without being best friends. They just know each other. That's all it is. About to be best friends.
Friends, I love that.
Yeah, like that's his buddy.
Like third graders.
Yeah, best friend, buddy. Really close and stop it. No, they aren't.
Yeah, in that the Simmons podcast, he said that when we were trying to make that Ben Simmons trade, a reason why it took longer was because Embiid was vying for the Beal trade package, whereas Morey wanted to get Harden. So there was kind of the internal struggle of Harden or Beal. And then when he had the surgery, that's when they were like, okay, let's go ahead and let's go get Harden. So that was.
Yeah, I'm not getting into the guessing, but okay, sounds good.
So we'll see what happens with this Bradley Beal stuff, but fun, man.
Do you think there's a chance they're maybe saying, as crazy as it sounds with all the CBA restrictions, going to Harden and being like, we could possibly get Beal if you take X amount of dollars, we can keep you and get Bradley? Or would that just be like?
Yeah, I'm sure they could mention that. They can mention.
I'm sure they're trying.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. They. I don't know if they would throw Bradley's name in there. They would probably say, "Hey, if he takes this salary, this amount of years, we can get another all-star quality player in here."
Let me ask you: would you, if we could do that, but will be an absolute cap hell, restricted, hard capped? No more like aggregating salaries, none of trades, none of that. Would you do that?
I think right now, like I said before, that I didn't see this team with Joel having a 5-6 year span. I'm still firm with that. I thought it was 2 or 3 years for them to go for it. I think they need to do whatever they need to do right now to go to win the championship. Whatever it takes.
So you'd say Beal,
whatever
Harden,
it takes.
Make it work, pay
whatever it takes to the max that you can go.
Okay. Do you think Harden, Maxey, Beal?
I don't know what it can be. I'm not saying I know what it is. I'm saying I think they need to go for it however they deem to be the correct way or the most possible way to do that. I'm not saying that the Beal Harden combination is what it will take. I'm just saying, whatever it takes to get to that point, while you have Joel playing the way he's playing, is what we need to do.
Yeah, agreed.
Wait, Teja, you think there's a possibility where we would be able to keep Maxey and all of that, if we were to get Beal and keep Harden?
Sure. I mean, if you just you'd be restricted, you couldn't do anything. That would be our team for the next like however many years. If you could get it done, I'm not like a cap specialist, but I mean, we have Harris right now. He's making 40. We have Harden making 35. So we are spending that money. The only thing we'd be doing is paying Maxey on top of that. Now, what could you do with Melton? What could you do with Jay McDaniels? Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have tough decisions to make. You probably have to fill the rest of your roster with vet minimums. If that's what going for it means, keeping Harden, Maxey, Beal, Embiid, and then figuring out the rest, then maybe he's going to try that. I don't know. Could it be possible? I mean, I guess it could if you'd be stuck with that team. You'd be stuck for at least like 4 or 5 years.
It's a fun team to be stuck with, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm sure Nets fans were saying that too before when they acquired the Harden, Kyrie, and Durant trio, though.
That's true.
So it can become a nightmare pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.